Ready for the Big Bad Wolf and the 7 Little Goats story? Click on play and join the fun with the Toon Toon Games tales. Guys, I have to go to the shops, so you'll be alone for a bit. Don't open the door to anyone, all right? Probably before I go to the shops, I should tell you a story so you understand. This is the story of the 7 little goats and the Big Bad Wolf. Once upon a time, there was a little house where 7 little goats lived with their mom. She had to go to the shops, so she warned them, "I'll be back soon. Don't open the door to anyone, especially not the Big Bad Wolf. You'll know it's him because he's got a gruff voice and dark-haired legs. Understood?" The mom left and the little goats were all alone. First, they were really happy because they could do whatever they wanted. But it wasn't long till something caught their attention. "Kids, I'm your mom, and I've got really yummy food from the village. Open the door." It was the Big Bad Wolf. But the little goats yelled at him, saying they wouldn't open the door because his voice was gruff and he wasn't their mom. But the Big Bad Wolf had an idea. He would eat some eggs to soften his voice. Some time passed, and there was another knock on the door. "Kids, I'm your mom, and I've got really yummy food from the village. Open the door." But this time around they answered, "If you're our mom, show us your paw." The wolf put his paw through the letterbox. But it was pretty obvious that his paw was dark, so they didn't open the door. They knew it wasn't their mom. The wolf decided to put his paw into flour to make it white, so they couldn't recognize him. So after knocking on the door again, he showed his white paw, so the little goats thought he was their mom. So they opened the door, only to find it was the Big Bad Wolf. So the little goats ran away to hide. The first one hid under a table. The second one hid under the bed in the room. The third one inside the fireplace. The fourth one in the kitchen cupboards. The fifth one in the bedroom's wardrobe. The sixth one behind the curtain. And the seventh one inside a clock. The wolf got really angry, and he started barking to scare the little goats. But a hunter that was wandering around heard the wolf. And after capturing him, he took him out of the house, saving the little goats from being eaten by the wolf. The little goat's mom thanked the hunter for saving her little ones. And from that moment on, they lived happily ever after as a family, knowing that it's never a good idea to open the door to strangers. Do you now understand what I wanted to tell you when I asked you not to open the door to anyone while you're home alone? Finally! Alex and Lily made it back from their painting classes. Well, we'll have to go to the shops all together. Can you guess what story is behind these 3 little houses? Click on play and join the fun with Alex and Lily. Hi, guys. Alex looks so funny dressed as a piglet. Would you also like to turn into one? Great! That way we'll have 3 little pigs, just like the story. Do you want me to tell it to you? Once upon a time, there was a family of little pigs. The mom, the dad, and the 3 little ones. They all lived happily in a cabin in the woods. But it was time for them to build their own houses. And so, the 3 little pigs said goodbye to their parents. The first one was a little bit lazy, and he decided to make his house out of hay. The second one was greedy, and he decided to make it out of wood. And the third one, hardworking and thrifty, made it out of stone. Do you want to know the end of the story? Look! The little pig in the hay house was living there in peace. And since he was so lazy, he slept as much as he could. But one day, a really hungry wolf knocked on his door and yelled, "Let me come in, or I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down." But since the pig thought the house could take it, he didn't open the door. So the wolf blew the house down. Luckily, the little pig managed to run away until he made it to his brother's wood house. He was really calm. He did have a pretty robust house. But one day, the wolf knocked on the door and yelled, "Let me come in, or I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down." And since the little pig said no, he blew the house away. But the 2 little pigs managed to run away and hid in their brother's stone house. And he blew and blew, but the wolf could never beat the robust stone house the hard-working brother had built. But he had an idea. He'd sneak in through the chimney. But the 3 little pigs placed a pot of boiling water under it. So when the wolf came down the chimney, he got burnt, burst out, and ran really far away. And that's how the 3 little pigs decided to have a stone house and live happily ever after. Are you ready to hear a story while I dress you up? Great! Today we got Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, there was a girl who loved her grandmother very much. Her mother, who knew how to sew very well, made her a hood. That's why everyone knew her as Little Red Riding Hood. One day, her grandmother became ill. So Little Red Riding Hood and her mother made some food to take to her. But Little Red Riding Hood had to cross the entire forest by herself. So she put on her little shoes and her red hood. Of course, before she left, her mother gave her the food basket and said, "Don't leave the path or talk to strangers. It could be dangerous." Wow! You're ready! Max, you're going to play wolf. Don't worry, you won't be too fierce. We need to dye your hair. Little Red Riding Hood hadn't gone very far when she met a wolf who asked her, "Where are you going in such a hurry, Little Red Riding Hood?" "To my grandmother's house to bring her food." So the wolf decided to get ahead on the path to arrive earlier. And thus, not only eat the grandma, but also Little Red Riding Hood. Don't worry, Max. You're not that kind of wolf. You're still as good as always. When Little Red Riding Hood arrived, the wolf had dressed up like Grandma. "What big eyes you have," said Little Red Riding Hood. "The better to see you with," the wolf replied. "What big ears you have," Little Red Riding Hood then said. "The better to hear you with," replied the wolf. Little Red Riding Hood said, "What a big mouth you have." And the wolf replied, "The better to eat you with." The wolf ate Little Red Riding Hood, but luckily, A hunter was passing by and heard her scream. Yes, a good hunter like Alex. He waited for the wolf to fall asleep to get Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother out of his stomach and replace them with stones. When the wolf woke up and went to the river to get a drink, he fell due to the weight of the stones and was swept away by the river. Thus, the hunter saved Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother. Do you like the story? Don't be sad, Max. Nothing like that is going to happen to you. At most, you'll eat the pasta in the basket. Kids! And then, they lived happily ever after. If you had fun with this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to our channel. And join our great Toon Toon Games family.